30-0 in a game that
we both picked that one to be close.
Yeah,
and it wasn't.
Nowhere near close. Johnson County, they were big winners over North Green, 45-22. You talked about the North and, of course, the South. Sullivan South beat Sullivan East handedly on senior night. And, of course, Unicoi County starting to roll that offense that we talked about previously in the season. They beat West Green 53-34. Rye Cove went, of course, they hosted Unaka. That's one of those state border wars, if you will. Rye Cove came out with the win 60-42. On the Virginia side, Castlewood knocked off Lebanon 34-14. Wise Central beat Union in an upset of probably the upset of Southwest Virginia. As we got the man, the myth, the legend here, Mr.
He's trying to give you some water, Joe.
Mr. Pat Elliott. Let's bring him on though, right quick. Hard working man, Mr. Elliott. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Doing well. Appreciate you for all that you do, supporting us and supporting Gate City.
I could have answered that question earlier, but I didn't.
Which one?
What is the best thing about being a Blue Devil?
There we go. And your answer.
Come to campus anytime they want.
There you go.
Booyah. We should get T-shirts.
Yeah, that's it.
Come to the campus anytime you want.
The best part of being here at Gate City.
At every campus in the entire world.
Of course, we tell everybody to come out, make sure you support the Blue Devils. After the ball game, before the ball game, though, Friday night, there's something going on in Weber City. Pat, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we run, in addition to the campus drive-in, we run a haunted house, haunted attraction through the Halloween season. This will be the last full weekend. We'll be open 7 p.m. to whenever the last one gets through. That's Friday and Saturday. Then Halloween night. And then we have a blackout night on the 3rd of November, which, pretty simple, we cut the lights off. So, come on out if you're looking for something to do.
It's a lot of fun, and like I said, of course, we've talked about it. That's the warehouse that we've mentioned before. So make sure that you go out. Again, like I said, want to support them as well as the campus here. So appreciate you for what you do. And
hey, guys, we're glad to have you guys.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
And home of the best what? Bacon
cheeseburger tater tots.
There we are. So,
touchdowns, what I'm talking about.
So come on down. You're open till 9 during the week.
Yeah, 9. Open at 7. And actually, we want to start closing on Sundays.
Oh, winter season.
We've got to have a little time to recharge our batteries.
I got you.
Starting we'll be closed this Sunday from here on out.
Gotcha. So make sure you're here 6 days a week. So again, like I said, open till
we appreciate you having us.
So sorry about that impromptu commercial there, but
got to pay the bills.
Got to pay the bills. But anyway, we were going through Southwest Virginia. Sorry, upset of the of Southwest Virginia. Wise Central Union have that big win over Ridgeview 2 weeks ago. We talked about the letdowns. Union had one, went on the road, and they came up short. They were down 21-0. They tried to come back, made it 21-13. Never got any closer. So, again, big win for Wise Central, which bodes well for Gate City coming up, and we'll talk about the PowerPoints here in just a few moments. Eastside knocked off Twin Springs 20-0 on the Titans' homecoming night. Honaker upsets Hurley in double overtime, 36-30. The Honaker Tigers are the Black Diamond District champions by virtue of that win. So congratulations to Coach Hubbard and his Tigers. Again, Tigers have been beat up most of the year, but played extremely well, especially in district. J.I. Burt knocked off Grundy 46-19. Richlands blanked Marion 38-0. Ridgeview, of course, now they're starting to roll again. And they knocked off John Battle, which we'll see in less than 48 hours, 44-6. And Thomas Walker knocked off Twin Valley 36-6. So we take a look at the PowerPoint rankings, and number 1 is Ridgeview once again. They are at the top. Of course, they win another couple games, they will lock in at the number 1 position. Union is number 2. Even though they lost, they still, the strength of their schedule and the number of wins leaves them at number 2. Richlands continues to climb. They are the number 3 seed if the playoffs were to start today. Wise Central makes a jump from 6 to 4 this week. They would host a playoff game if it was held today. Graham is the number 5 seed, as well as Tazewell is 6. Your Blue Devils are number 7, and Marion is number 8. John Battle, Virginia High, Lehigh, and Lebanon are the final 4 that are left out right now on the outside looking in. As we mentioned, though, Marion, with losing last week, they did not able to secure knocking off Lehigh out of the playoffs. So Lehigh, Lebanon, Virginia High, all mathematically still alive. But again, right now it's kind of a rough road to hoe for those 3 teams.
Well, Gate City's in a really good position right now that it doesn't matter what the other teams do.
Yep.
If they go out, they take care of business, they're in. And let's just look at it that way.
And you take a look at the power points that they can acquire. Of course, like I said, they play John Battle, and then they finish up with Wise Central. Wise Central, by the strength of their schedule and their wins, of course, that's a 5-win team right now. It would be good for Gate City again. They would be able to climb up, almost maybe catch them. Depends on what happens the next couple of weeks. Patrick Henry in the Region 1D is the number 1 seed overall. Thomas Walker continues to win, and they are number 2. Chilhowie is at 3. J.I. Burton is 4. Castlewood is number 5. J.I. Burton and Castlewood, of course, play this week, so that will determine not only the Cumberland District Championship, but probably a home playoff game in the upcoming playoffs. Hurley is number 6. Honaker is number 7. Holston is 8. On the outside looking in, though, within about half a point of each other is Eastside, Grundy, and Rural Retreat. Twin Springs, Rye Cove, Twin Valley, and Northwood are the bottom 4 right now if the playoffs were to start today. So a lot of things that can still be sort of up in the air right now. I think the top 8 have pretty much locked in for our region. It's just where they're going to end up and, who's going to play who and where.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I'd like to see what's going to happen when Gate City wins out. See if they can't wind up with a home field advantage, and hopefully, I was thinking about that Wise Central game last year. That's when the hurricane was supposed to come through, and they moved the game to Thursday,
yep.
And I think that got Gate City a little out of sync, and they still played Wise Central pretty much straight up in that game. So I'm really looking forward to them coming down here. Again,
Gate City last year, if you remember the last half of the season, held the lead in the last 4 games. Of course, they didn't. They ended up 1-3 in that stretch. So Gate City doing a better job this year of closing teams out. We talked about, Chris, and I ran this off the weekly ratings for in terms of the PowerPoints. You were talking about how do they come up with it? Again, every time Gate City wins, they get 18 points, and then they get 2 points for every win that team acquires. Richlands, for example, we got 18 points to start the season. They've got 4 wins, so we get 8, which is the way it works. If we lose to somebody, we still get, as long as it's in our division, we still get 8 points, and we get 1 point for each team that they beat. So we talk about the Abingdon Falcons, which was the second game of the season we lost. We still got 8 points, but they've won 4 games. So then the danger, though, is you get down to week 6 where we played George Wythe. That's a 1A school, which is smaller than us. So we only got 4 points even in the loss. Now we've got 7 points off of their wins, but still yet, you want to play up. And then the last couple of weeks, of course, whenever you knock off Marion, which had 3 wins, you get 18 points and then 6. Lehigh doesn't give any extra power points, so we just get the 18 from them. So that's how that kind of works out. And is that clear as mud?
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. So
when you're in, that's the way I like it.
So with that being said, we've got a couple other things we'll go over, but we'll do that on the flip side of the break. Again, you're listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
If you listen or watch the news these days, where to invest your hard-earned money is a daunting task that leaves many investors nervous or unsure about what to do. The experienced financial planners at James River Advisors, though, take their time to learn about you, your needs, and will help you to navigate through these decisions and will give you peace of mind for the future. Your local office in Gate City is managed by Edwin Cox, and he is ready to help you with your decisions and believes in establishing long-lasting relationships with his clients based on trust. He is ready to help you with financial planning, investments, and much, much more. So give him a call today at 276-690-8014. Again, that's 276-690-8014. He's located at 122 East Jackson Street next to Dollar General in Gate City.
You are listening to the home of Blue Devil Sports. This is Gate City Sports Radio.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening and staying with us. We're broadcasting to you live from the Campus Drive-In. We've got a couple other things we'll talk about here. We take a look at the picking panel, Chris. We got 3 more weeks. Everybody took it on the chin last week with some of those
upsets.
Those upsets played havoc with us. I went 11-5. Everybody else went 10-6. It was everybody's worst week that we've had of the season. Actually, was last week. But anyway, talking about the picking panel, of course, we've got a good slate of games this week. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, of course, the Musket Bowl, Crockett and Daniel Boone, Science Hills at Dobbins-Bennett, Cherokee at Tennessee High, South at Elizabeth and Volunteer at Unicoi County, North is at East. And then on the Virginia side, I think a game that's probably going to be the best, Abington at Richview, Graham is at Richlands, Honaker at Patrick Henry, Castlewood at J.I. Burton, Lebanon at Virginia, Tazewell at Marion. Of course, there's a couple college games we'll talk about as well. But, Chris, what are a couple games that jump out to you from this slate that we're picking from this week?
Well, of course, the big rivalry in Tennessee.
Sullivan North and East.
Sullivan North and East, yes. Or Science Hill at Dobbins-Bennett. That game traditionally determines the champion of the conference, and this year's going to be no different. Well, Dobbins-Bennett's locked up a share of it, but who wants a share? You want the whole thing.
Exactly.
I also think that the South at Elizabethan game, my spidey sense is tingling on that one a little bit. I think South's going to be – I think Elizabethan will win, but I think South's going to give them a game.
So go the opposite way with your spidey sense? Is that what you're saying, Taylor?
Yes, the way my picks have gone this year, that's what I would do.
No, but, yeah, I agree. I think there can be a couple – I think Tennessee High – I think Cherokee at Tennessee High. Colin Trent's healthy. They have nothing to lose going to the Stone Castle. Tennessee High, everybody's been patting them on the back all week. What you did with Crockett. Crockett, I think that was a great loss for them. It's probably humbled them.
An attention getter.
It's like, okay, now we see what can happen. Nothing against Tennessee High, but I think that ball game has upset written on it. And as you mentioned, Science Hill and Dobbins-Bennett, Chris Thomas with Science Hill, good running back. They say he'll be back for this game. Be interested to see those 3 backs. Science Hill's been banged up, but now that all of them are healthy against, Dobbins-Bennett's been a little bit banged up as well on the defensive side. Those linebackers we talked about so much. It's going to be interesting to see and of course the emotion of this game.
I think Dobbins-Bennett, they're about healthy now. Like I said before, I work with their offensive line coach, and that's where the injuries have been. He said that they're from a health standpoint, they're looking okay. He said.
So maybe they can rest them in the second half after it's a big blowout.
Oh, how amazing would that be?
Yes, indeed. All right, so we'll talk about the Virginia side really quick. Of course, Abington and Ridgeview. Abington is undefeated in conference play. Ridgeview has the 1 loss. Abington can wrap up the Mountain 7 with this win.
I think this is going to be a really interesting game, and I had trouble deciding when we were making our picks on this one. Like you said, Abington they've done really well in conference, but I think Ridgeview is probably one of the biggest, or how can I put this, the most talented of the conference teams they've really faced so far. I don't know. That's going to be an interesting game.
Of course, Abington still has to play Union, that ball game, which will be tremendous here in a couple of weeks. But you talk about that Ridgeview. I think that Union exposed Ridgeview for what for how to beat them.
That was the other thing that I was thinking of with this also, yes.
To be fit, they were so physical with. I mean, every time Adkins came near the line, somebody was putting a hat on him, and he just was not a factor in the game. So I think they've sort of showed what they need to do in terms of beating them. I think a game that nobody's going to talk about much, but should be one of the better ones. Castlewood's at J.I. Burton. Castlewood, 5-win Castlewood team. They've been through the ups and downs. They exacted some revenge against Lebanon, beat them for the first time since 1987 last week. They played some close games. They knocked off Honeacre